Hello, this narrated presentation is going to give you all sorts of tips and tricks for designing and delivering a presentation. Let's get started. Photographs and backgrounds. There is a lot to cover on this topic, but the most important piece of information to know is to always use quality photographs. No one wants to see low quality or distorted images in your presentation. Even though this background, for example, is blurry, it is made that way purposefully for an artistic approach. Photos like this are perfectly fine and will even add to your presentation. Something else you should know is that you should always find Creative Commons licensed photos. This gives you personal use of the photos as long as you give appropriate attribution. In the bottom left-hand corner, you can see that I gave attribution to Garen M., who is the owner of the photo, which I found on Flickr.com. I also have the URL to the photo in the slide notes section. Finding photos online is not your only option. You can also use solid colors that are built into PowerPoint as backgrounds. Be careful though, using these solid colored backgrounds can become very boring and repetitive. If used correctly, solid colored backgrounds bring out the text much more than a more customized background because the text is the only attribute to the slide that the eye has to focus on. Variable fonts and size. When most people make presentations, they know that they have to use large text that stands out, but that is easy to read. Yet there is so much more to fonts than that. Do not be scared to change the fonts a bit or to make different words on the slide different sizes. This can be helpful for making the more important ideas stand out and catch a viewer's attention. For example, I bet the word size in the slide stuck out to you because it is an impact font and is more than double the size of the other words. Readability. Readability is probably the single most important aspect to keep in mind when designing a presentation. The usual problem with readability is the designer's choice of background. If the background has too many contrasting colors, it might be very hard to get the text to line up in a readable manner on the slide. Obviously, the word readability above is in a white color which is over a black background. This cannot get any more readable because white fits so perfectly over black. Readability is another reason why you do not want to use a font that is too crazy. If you choose a super cool script font, it might not be readable by everyone and might not be the best choice of font. The best choice for putting text over a background that might make the text unreadable is to put a semi-transparent shape behind the text to make it stand out. I used this technique a few times in the latter part of this presentation. Bullet points. Everyone loves bullet points. Why is this true? Because people want to have a failsafe if they forget what they're supposed to say. Bullets make slides confusing and make the presenter unnecessary. If all the information is on the screen in front of the audience, why would they need an extra person to read it back to them? Bullet points are not a complete lost cause though. If used correctly, they can be helpful in specific situations. Bullet points can be used to present generic information that the presenter is going to be speaking about. Just do not overuse them. Presenting websites and videos can make or break a presentation. I know I personally have sat through many presentations where the presenter will just throw a link onto a slide in order to get to another web page. Half of the time when they are presenting, the link doesn't even work. This can discourage the audience and make them think of the presenter as being less professional. Instead, embed your videos and web pages into the slide itself so that there's no way for it to fail. Colors. I bet most of you watching this presentation rarely use a different color font when creating a presentation. This is fine. Colors are definitely not needed for a professional presentation, and it is better to be safe than sorry. If too many colors are used, it could put strain on the eyes of the audience, which will tire them out and make them care less about your overall message. On the other hand, colors can be used very successfully. If you wish to make a certain word stand out, simply changing its color is a great way to do that. There is more to a presentation besides just designing it. You will have to present it at some point. The most important aspect to actually presenting a presentation is knowing the material. You need to have a very good grip on the knowledge that you are attempting to spread to your audience. If the audience knows just as much as you, or even corrects some of your information, what is the point in even presenting? Make sure you study the topic at hand so you know how to inform your audience correctly. Leave your personal life at the door. All that drama that is going on in your life, any relationship, job, family, or mental problems, have no effect on the information in your presentation. The audience does not care if you had a fight with your girlfriend that morning. Put a smile on your face, no matter how fake, and deliver your information with confidence. If prepared, the problems in your life should have no effect on the presentation. Just like how John Coltrane rehearsed his instrument every day, or how Joe DiMaggio practiced his sport every day, you too must practice. You should know what your next sentence is before you say it so that your language flows and the audience can understand what you are saying. This is similar to knowing the material, but the biggest difference is that you cannot know just the raw material. You have to know how to make it all fit into a successful presentation. Know the room. Whether it is for a college class or for a business meeting 15 years from now, knowing the room you will be presenting in is crucial to delivering a successful presentation. If you have never been in the room before, get to the meeting a little bit early so you can stand at the front of the room and get a feel for what the presentation will feel like. Sit in some of the chairs where the audience will be and get an idea of the best place for you to stand. These might be nitty-gritty little tasks, but they can add up and make your presentation spectacular. Knowing your equipment. Nothing is worse than a projector that won't center correctly or a laptop that won't run your PowerPoint mere minutes before your presentation. This will make you anxious, and even if you get the equipment to work, will cause unneeded stress that can only hurt your overall delivery of the presentation. Try to make sure you can use your own computer, or at least have the presentation on a flash drive just in case. This is also another reason to show up to the presentation early so you can make sure everything works the way it should. This is America. We want our presentations spoken in English. Leave out the fillers like and like as much as possible. Choose language that is at a high enough level so that you display your knowledge for the information successfully, but not so intricate that the audience has to get a thesaurus out to decipher your language. Remember to speak to your audience as if you are having a conversation with them with a more relaxed, personal feel. Pace yourself. Now, this does not mean to go as slow as this cute little snail pictured above, but it does mean that you should stay at a comfortable pace. If you speak too fast, you risk sounding like you are no longer speaking English, and the audience may not be able to understand you. If you speak too slow, the audience may get bored and start daydreaming. Leave small spaces between your sentences so that the audience can digest what you just said. Another extremely annoying mistake that a presenter can make is walking over to the computer to advance the slide every 30 seconds. For this reason, you should have the projector set up to a remote which can advance the slide for you. When you are able to stand in the same vicinity and talk to the audience without looking at the computer screen, your message can be conveyed much more effectively. Look forward. Even if there are not any bullet points in your presentation, a nervous reaction you might have is to look back at the projector to see what the slide looks like. Remember, you are not the audience, and you definitely do not need the slides to present your information. Take a quick glance at the slide when you first advance to it, but besides that, keep your eyes forward, looking at your audience. Always have a backup plan. There are innumerable aspects of your presentation that can go wrong. Your equipment could fail, your data could be a little off, someone could make a negative comment towards one of your slides. When you are designing your presentation, you should think of a backup plan for almost any situation so that even if one of these disasters happen, you can quickly recover and get your point to your audience. Remember, presenting a presentation will go as well as you want it to go. The more work you put in, the better the outcome will be. Most importantly, remember to have fun with your presentation.